What do we have?
Single GSW to the left anterior chest. BP's dropping fast, possible hemothorax.
Open thoracotomy and chest tube.
She's coding.
Herb for it, let's go. Crash cart. Come on, we're losing her.
CBS's NCIS franchise has made Pauley Perrette's return as Abby Ciuto increasingly unlikely, especially with the announcement of the new spin-off NCIS, Tony and Ziva. Initially seen as a perfect fit for the duo's European escapades, Abby's potential involvement has diminished due to the introduction of a new character who fills her role. Although Abby's computer and forensic skills could still aid Tony and Ziva, her return is now expected to be limited to a special guest appearance rather than a regular role, complicating her comeback in the series. NCIS just killed the easiest way for Pauley Perrette's return as Abby. A new update just killed the easiest and arguably the best way for Pauley Perrette's Abby Ciuto to return to the NCIS franchise. CBS TV universe isn't new to characters leaving. The major case response team, in particular, has seen its fair share of departures, with NCIS Season 21 no longer having any original members. With that, comebacks are also nothing unique. Several people who have once left somehow find their way back for all kinds of reasons. More than 2 years after Mark Harmon's exit, there are still conversations about when Leroy Jethro Gibbs will return to Navy Yard. CBS has already brought back key members of what's widely known as Gibbs' best NCIS team. Ziva David reunited with Gibbs for a mini-arc in Season 17, while Tony DiNozzo came back for Ducky Mallard's special tribute episode in Season 21. One character who has yet to step her foot back in the MCRT bullpen is Abby. NCIS original forensic scientist and computer genius hasn't reunited with her old coworkers since leaving the agency in Season 15. Briefly, the path of Abby's NCIS return was clear, but now, a new update just killed it. NCIS, Tony and Ziva cast makes Abby's return unlikely. Tony and Ziva have an established support system in Europe. Both Ziva and Tony returned to MCRT, but Abby could have returned to the NCIS franchise via their spin-off. When NCIS, Tony and Ziva was announced, one of the pertinent details about it was that the famed couple would be on the run across Europe. That means that they would be on the defensive end of the storytelling and would be needing help from allies, especially familiar ones. That's where Abby, who is presumed to still be based in the United Kingdom, could come in. Logistically, she was the perfect candidate to join NCIS, Tony and Ziva. Aside from the narrative, NCIS, Tony and Ziva was also Perrette's simplest path back to the franchise that had the smallest chance of him having to work with Mark Harmon again, which was mandatory considering their past conflict with the rest of NCIS. Tony and Ziva's cast now announced, however, this scenario has become unlikely. The former MCRT members have an ensemble of experts helping them navigate the ordeal. That includes Maximilian Osinski as Boris, a Russian expat and a brilliant computer hacker. He effectively fills the spot that Abby would occupy in Tony and Ziva's European squad. Aside from the narrative, NCIS, Tony and Ziva was also Perrette's simplest path back to the franchise that had the smallest chance of him having to work with Mark Harmon again, which was mandatory considering their past conflict. How Abby can still be reunited with Tony and Ziva in their NCIS spin-off. Abby can still be Tony and Ziva's go-to person for one particular job. Aside from Abby's computer skills, however, she also has one particular skill set that could be helpful to Tony and Ziva. Perrette's character was also a revered forensic scientist, which can help the couple in figuring out who exactly they are going after. However, instead of a regular slot in the cast, this will likely only be a special role for her. Considering the nature of NCIS, Tony and Ziva, she won't have a lab like she did back in Navy Yard. In any case, having this option for her NCIS comeback is better than not having anything.